Hey y'all, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about pin reinforced mortise and tenon joinery, or peg reinforced mortise and tenon joinery. There are basically two schools of thought, at least as far as I know, for this type of joinery. One in which the pin that is inserted through the tenon serves as the primary source of structural integrity for that joint. Meaning that, until you insert that pin, the joint is kind of loose. It's not quite ready. The second type is where the pin is inserted more to give the joint longer term structural integrity. So the mortise and tenon joint by itself is strong. The tenon fit into the mortise just fine and all that. But over time, as the glue in that type of joint might tend to degrade, the tenon being part of that joint will help prolong the joint's life. And when thinking about at least those two types of mortise and tenon joinery, again, pinned or pegged mortise and tenon joinery, I tend to gravitate more towards that second type in my woodwork. In fact, here are some examples of where I've used that over the years. This first example shows actually the leg on the desk in my home office that I made several years ago. I made the desk several years ago. And then this second picture is of a mission-style sofa that I recently made that I still need to get upholstery made for. Actually, if you want to know more about joinery, you might want to pick up this book. I bought this book many years ago, early in my woodworking life. It's a book on joinery. I would imagine it's still being published by the Taunton Press. Has everything in you ever want to know about joinery. In fact, I had to make an entertainment center once for somebody that called for a three-sided miter that I was able to find, luckily, in this book. So again, has everything in it if you want to read about joinery. Now, getting back to today's topic on for the pin reinforced mortise and tenon joinery. Again, I gravitate more towards a type of joinery where the pin is there for secondary long-term strength and really also aesthetics. I just like the way joints like that look in certain types of furniture. And what I'm going to kind of hone in on today are the pins that I use. Two types of pins that I use for that type of joinery. One I make myself. It's a dowel rod I make myself. And the other you probably are familiar with. It's called a Miller dowel. Probably heard of it. You can get that, I'm sure, at your favorite woodworking supply store or probably Amazon, where everything else is available. I also use that sometimes, and I'll talk about that. And for today, I made up this little model mortise and tenon joint to use just to demonstrate this type of joinery. And I've marked off two locations on you can consider this a leg, I guess. And one of the locations I'm going to put one of the dowels that I make, and in the other I'm going to use a Miller dowel. So you can just look at both of them together. So first I'm going to go over the process for a homemade dowel. Again, a long time ago when I got into woodworking and I wanted to make my first pin reinforced mortise and tenon joint, I had a brilliant idea. I thought this is going to be easy. I already have drill bits. I got a drill. I just need to go down to the big box store or my wood lumber supply store, buy some dowels of whatever species I want, and I'm good. I quickly learned, as I learned a lot early on, that just because the dowel has a little sticker on it that says 3/8 of an inch or half an inch or whatever, doesn't mean that it's actually a half an inch or 3/8 inch. It's more 3/8 inch-ish. And as we know, when you're talking ish in woodworking, that's dangerous. So, yeah, that just didn't work. So then, at some point later on, I was at a woodworking show, and I went to the Lee Nielsen booth, and I found this. This is a plate. This here is an English version. They make it also in metric. And this allows you to make your own dowels. And unlike the dowel rods you might buy at the whatever store, when you make it with this, it's the dimension that it's marked, and it will work. And the other ones, you can't count those working. And the way you use this dowel plate here, that's, is machined, by the way, is that you cut a square of whatever species of wood you want to make the pin out of. That's equal to the same diameter of the hole or the pin you want to make. And this plate here goes from starts at 1/8 of an inch pin up to 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to make a 3/8 inch dowel today. So what I did is I got some cherry, I cut it to 3/8 of an inch square. You whittle down a point on the end of that and hammer it through the form, and it makes a dowel like this. And again, this is 3/8 of an inch. So I'll just show you, I'll just go through the process of doing that. So here is a piece of cherry, a square that I cut to 3/8 of an inch. And I just take a little utility knife and let me just whittle down a point. All right. Okay, and now I'm going to make the dowel. And there it is. Let's see if I can put this in focus. Just gotta rip it out. And this is what I'll use for the joint. Okay, so here's my little mortise and tenon model that I put together. I'm not even gonna bother gluing this up. I'm just gonna slide it in there. And for this first example, I'm going to put the pin I just made in the top hole. I kind of marked off an area for the top. And so let me just put this together. Well, actually, before I do that, to help guide the drill bit for me to drill that hole, I made up this little jig, got a piece of scrap and MDF, just to help me make sure I'm drilling the hole perpendicular to the face of the leg here. And also, a lot of hand drills out there, they're not like drill presses. There's some wobble in the bit. This will help minimize that when I clamp this jig into place. And also, I've obviously marked off the areas where I want to drill. So once I line this up, I know exactly where the holes are going to be. All right, so let me put this together. Okay. So now I've clamped this into place, and I just need to drill the hole. All right, let's take a look. Got warm, but there it is. So now I will just install the pin. And again, I'm not going to glue it or anything like that. I'm just going to put it in there to show you how it fits, obviously. More so to show you the fact that this plate does a really good job. I lost my light there for a second. But anyway, this is it. So as I think I was starting to say, from here, Had I glued it and all that, I would just cut the tip of it off, plane it, and that would be done. So now let me go through the other type of dowel that I use. Actually, to be honest, I use it a lot. The Miller dowel, which you may or may not already be familiar with. Okay. So here are a couple of Miller dowels. They come in different sizes. This is about a 7/16 inch version. They also come in various species. I think this is cherry, walnut. I have beech or birch. This is the package that they come in. And you'll need a special drill bit, obviously, to drill a hole for the Miller dowel, and that's what the bit looks like. And there is obviously a difference in these two pins or dowels, you know, and it's clear that the shear strength of the Miller dowel is not going to be the same as that of the 3/8 inch dowel. Again, thinking about the long-term structural integrity of the joint. But honestly, that's never concerned me. This, at the depth it'll be installed, it's going to be basically, at least in this piece, it would be in this region. And given those diameter difference, that's not enough for me to be concerned about, especially given the fact that by the time this pin is needed, I'll be long gone. So I put the special drill bit into my drill, and there's a little indentation on the end of this bit to tell you where to stop drilling. You know, it's just less than the length of the dowel, so that the end's a little proud. Then you would just, again, as with the other one, cut it off, plane it, and you're done. So it's as simple as this, drilling a hole. And from here, you know what to do. You get your flush cutting saw, cut off the end, plane it down, and you're done. Once again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified of future content. Until next time, take care.